Morning, everyone. Welcome to another Trading View update. Last 24 hours has seen more sideways action. Bitcoin dropping around $1,800 in the last 3 hours, now at critical support levels. But before we look at the chart, I thought I'd give you a quick comparison of how the market currently looks at these price levels compared to how it was structured back in February when we were here last. Now, back in February, we had the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust trading at a huge premium. We had long-term holders selling, which is always kind of something that you see when the market's close to topping off. Lots and lots of leveraged longs, as we've seen from the funding rates whenever we look at them compared to now. And the futures contango, or the contango in the futures market, was trading, at times up to 30%. So there was a lot more use of leverage, a lot more use of longs instead of using spot buying to try and push the market higher. This time round, there's a discount in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, so they're not buying at the moment. People aren't buying the Bitcoin Trust. Long-term holders, as we can see on Glassnode, there's much more of an accumulation going on. And obviously, as we've spoken about the last few days, the funding rates are still exceptionally low. We highlighted yesterday how the futures curves are much more depressed. So overall, this gives a much more stable and solid picture of where we currently are. The options that we mentioned yesterday as well, I had a quick look at the overall call to put option ratio across all expiries in Bitcoin. That's currently at 2.12. So there's more than twice as many calls being written as there are puts across all expiries accumulated. And the last time we were at this level was in December. So we all know what happened back then. So whilst there is the occasional weakness in the market or retests of support levels, keep an eye on the big picture. And the thing that we want to really drive home here is that when we are at levels of support in a market that is trending higher, those are the times when you need to buy. And we'll look at that in a second. So first of all, Bitcoin. We mentioned how there's this importance of Fibonacci retracements. And you can see how the high and the high of April and the low of June have created these lines. That is to say, if this is actually the data points that we're using to plot, so none of this actually existed when this was mapped out. And you can see how dragging it forward, it shows where these areas of support and resistance have acted as the which has not been predetermined, but they are important levels to keep an eye on. We're now back at this 46,900 level being tested, which is fine. And normally we've got the 200-day moving average coming in below hand as well. So that's another good support factor that should keep prices at these levels. We've seen similar sort of price action take place already here. It's the third time that we're testing this level. We had it back in August, where we had one test of 44, another test of 44, before moving higher. And this sort of price action is what we want to be seeing. And normally in a bull run, if we are breaking through a new level of resistance to the upside, you don't really want to buy then. You want to wait until the price has come back down, tested the previous level of resistance as support before moving higher. That's when is historically a good time to jump into the market. You always want to buy at levels of support rather than buy at levels of resistance. On the Ethereum side, similar sort of movement. We had the Fib retracements being mapped out from the top at 4,383 versus the low at 1,700. And again, trading in a much more narrow and compact range. Ethereum actually overnight tested that level of resistance at 3,300 before correcting back lower. So that sideways price action is continuing. When to buy Ethereum would either be at a time when prices are in and around 3,000 or just below 3,000, Or if we break higher, then we'd almost have to wait for this move to come back down to test the 3,350 area as a new level of support here or maybe here. And then if that level holds, buy then, and then allow the run to move higher still. That's it from us this morning. Have a good trading day.